Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of In Conversation with myself. I am never alone, as you can see, except for my last episode. As you can see, I've got two lovely couples, four amazing individuals that I've spent a few years, some a few months, knowing and loving and getting the opportunity to spend time with them and listening to how they think. Today, I got them here to talk about real life stuff that can help you, that can help me, that can help everybody. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tracy, that is Michelle, this is Kavina, and that is Frank, and it's about to go down.
Take a sip.
Don't see.
All right.
So, it's been 6 years for the both of you guys as a married couple. One word to describe this journey. One word. Mitch.
That's a deep question.
It is really deep.
No, it is.
One word. Roller coaster.
You stole my word, bro.
Equally yoked.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same. It's been a roller coaster.
Frank?
What can I say? One word.
Look at the people that don't take long.
I'm just. I'm
It's
trying,
an easy one,
No,
eh?
it
I'm
is.
trying to get the right word. One word. One
First
word.
thing that comes to mind.
No.
Challenging. I ain't gonna lie.
Challenging, yes.
Also, the couples are
Challenging.
unison.
Yeah.
Challenging and
Challenging.
roller
Roller
coaster.
coaster.
Challenging. For me,
Okay.
challenging.
And the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 6 years?
The biggest lesson I learned is transparency is key.
For me, it's listening to the other.
Mitch?
Can't be in control of everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Trace?
Grace.
Amen.
So I want to go back, Mitch and Tracy. You guys, I would say, did things, I can say, not traditional, but did things the way a lot of Christian people would say do it. You guys decided to court. I think you courted for over 8 years. Was it 9 years or something of courting, if I'm not mistaken?
If I may, right?
Yeah.
I don't think even when we started, it was an intentional sort of thing of like we're gonna court or we're gonna like do it this way. I think we were just very fortunate that we had people who were willing to assist. As soon as they saw us together, we had people in our journey who were just willing to help and advise. So we got to a point where you would, because we only saw each other on Sundays, back at church back then. So literally,
And you guys
in our
were
walk-
18, 17.
18. So that's when we started. So
You
we
guys are
knew
high
each other for a
school
very long time.
sweethearts.
Somewhat, I suppose.
Let me say the last year of high school. So I don't know what if that counts, but
Yeah.
So I think we were fortunate in that way, and it ended up falling into sort of that. So we never like said let's court, let's put. It was more of we started, the friendship started, and then the people came, and we were just
Which is
very
important
fortunate.
because
Yeah.
where the environment you came from, dating was sort of looked down upon.
Taboo.
So to have people from that same environment come and say, okay, I'm willing to help you, I'm sure it helped you. But I want to know, people often say courting like it's easy, like it's smooth, like there's no challenges that the real world people
No,
face.
100%, yeah.
So I need you guys to just open up and elaborate on the realities of courting, like the truths behind courting, because people think, oh, but we know, this can happen. So
100%.
how did you guys overcome that, and how deep were those challenges?
Wanna go for it?
Sure. It's not easy to court, if I can call it that. I don't even know if it's courting. Dating in general is not easy. The challenges we had, I think, because we were younger, were I think the mundane things like transportation, getting to and from a date,
Mix it, eh?
mix a date. Please call me, I love you, good night things.
That's where we
The
were.
struggle financially was because you're younger.
Yeah.
But into the more serious things, we didn't know what we were doing necessarily. There was, because it was such a taboo topic,
Yeah.
there wasn't that framework of this is how it should work.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like forging our own way. Do we go on dates? And if we go on dates, is there someone supposed to be there? If we are alone, what do we do? What do we not do? Sure, where do we go? What do we tell our parents?
Yeah, that's a big one. Yes.
So obviously when it started off, my parents were dating is a no-no. You don't do that in
And you guys are both firstborns as well.
Yeah, because then you have to set an example.
Absolutely.
Sure, it was too much pressure. So, I mean, we started off secretly, like I suppose any other teenage couple would start.
Yeah.
When we started off, and I think I even remember your dad caught messages we had sent to each other. I mean, there were normal messages.
Yeah.
We try to hide, you know.
Somehow Mitch's dad got a hold of the phone, read the messages, and was like, "Who's this girl? I want to see her." Oh, stress, stress. So that's
That was in, just to jump in, that was in
20.
varsity,
yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
That was the first serious talk that we had with parents, like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's your plan? And then from there, it's like, okay, if you guys are serious about this,
But they say if you're serious, you should hold up.
yeah, you should hold up. Make sure that you.
That's deep.
So there was a tough one.
So, how do you say?
Yeah, I think what I like about my dad though was very serious to say, real to say, listen, this is high school. You haven't gone to varsity yet. You haven't seen anything. I was
That's
like,
a
yeah.
good advice.
Mm.
That's a
So
good advice.
he's like, listen, I get it. You're starting young, but you haven't seen anything with varsity, and this was in front of both of us. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
trying to get this person. Now you're telling me this. Like, dude, like, what is this? You know. So that was kind of the conversation that happened, and yeah. But I think, like I said, I think what Tracy said, it wasn't easy. There were many challenges. Even just to dive into it, even intimate
Yes.
challenges. So we were fortunate in a sense, like I said, we had things put in place. We didn't go as far, but there were things that I don't think we were very proud of, if I can say that.
Yeah.
But certainly we fell into those traps as well. It's not too. So hence what I'm saying, we didn't do courting. Going back to my word, it wasn't done in the proper way. Although we fell into some form of category because of the sort of help we got.
Yeah.
So that was us. I believe it still is possible because I know of people that have got testimonies that have gone through that road when they've put things. I know people who've kissed only
On their wedding day.
not even when we proposed. I know one guy proposed.
That's deep.
So-
You know, that's a deep one.
So obviously everyone has their journeys, but we're all not the same. And like I said,
True.
for us, we fell into those traps, but we didn't go all the way. So
I see.
that was us.
That's deep. So, you know, we live in a generation where everybody has something to say. Everybody always has a comment. So, how did you guys deal with what happened 2014, 2015 with Genesis, your firstborn? How did you guys deal with that individually and as a collective?
Do you want to start?
Yeah. I've always been ride or die guy, you know. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not. So when she felt she was pregnant, I was okay. You know, I was okay. I was like, okay, cool. That's my child. You know, you're my girl. I love you. I'm gonna go with you. You know. And she thought I was joking until now. You know, the parent.
Yeah.
And I was always there. You know, I was always there. I stepped up. Till today, I'm here. You know, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for me it was okay because I planned to finish school, then come and present myself to a family and get married. So Genesis came earlier. I was like, it doesn't change my plans, you know, for you to be with you. Yeah, so I'm ready. And at that time, I have no job, I have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine.
It's a lot of,
I was born like that, you know. We grew up like that, you know. If you do stuff, you have to be responsible to take over. And for me, moving here, you know, alone at 19 years old, yeah, I was living alone for a long time, you know. I went to boarding school, so yeah. Somehow I just used to grow up quick in my life. So yeah, for me it was a normal step, and dating other girls before. I've been in that place where, yeah, you know, yeah. Then yeah, it's okay. You know, you can abort. It's fine. Yeah. So to run away from that, it was like, nah. You know, you've been here. You know, I love this girl, babe. Don't abort. Keep the child. I'm gonna be there. Yeah. So for me, it was normal. Yeah.
That's deep. And you, Kavina, you know, firstborn girl. You
Yeah.
know, Congolese.
Absolutely.
Proud parents, proud of their kids. How was that?
challenging.
No, I think I want to say, I think me and Frank had two totally different experiences because we grew up in a very close-knit family. In Frank's family, they're close, but everybody's an individual. Like for me, we more or less grew up the same. You know, everybody knows that my parents even used to speak about pregnancy. Listen here, you know, don't fall pregnant. If you do, don't ever abort. I even remember this one time, and we used to always tease my dad, you know, because he used to say, guys, if you want me to be sick, fall pregnant. And we'd tease him, you know, because now I'm finished school, and you never think you're going to fall into that trap. You know, with Congolese parents, it has nothing to do with school, a job, because I had all of that. The fact that you're in the house and you're pregnant, it's over. Yeah. It's over. And luckily for me, I found out when I was 3 weeks pregnant, so it was early. So that gave us time as a family to deal with all the drama, to deal with for everybody to digest, you know, everything. So that by the time we sorted out all the issues and people had known, I was like 6 months. So by the time my parents got everybody else's backlash, we were good. You know, the foundation was strong. So it didn't phase us. You know, and I think that also helps in terms of pregnancy for the child to obviously grow in a place of peace. Right. Yeah. Because I feel like had I kept it until like the end and told them then, no, it wasn't going to work out. So it helped us to deal with everybody else because we had like a strong foundation where everybody was talking. My parents are like, dude, it's okay. You know, they digested it because when they did find out, it was hard. It was. Yeah, can you imagine? It was disappointing because we grew up in a very open and honest family. My parents spoke to us about sex. My mom is that auntie that speaks to everybody else about this. She's the naughty auntie. If that makes sense. Yeah. So obviously, when I fell pregnant, it was first of all, my mom was upset because she said I was honest with you. I was honest with Frank. You know, it's not that I was stupid and I didn't know. My dad used to tell me all the time, what are you doing with this guy? Where are you going? We're going to his house. What are you going to do? You're going to chill. When I felt pregnant and I told him I was pregnant, the first thing he said, okay, muchile, carry on chilling. You know, because it was like, what did you expect? You knew what was going to happen, you know. So the problem wasn't the baby. It was just breaking that trust, you know that in our community, people don't like this kind of stuff. But we still trusted you. But like I said, luckily for us, we had a good 6 months to 7 months, you know, to digest everything. And we had a strong foundation where the backlash, the noise from Congo did not break us. It was already too late. And people don't have that chance, you know. And luckily for me, I also live in a family where we can talk about these things, so it was easy. It wasn't easy, but you know, the first people I thought of telling were my parents versus everybody else. Yeah. You see, so I could go up to them, and I told my dad before my mom because I didn't want my dad to be like, "It's your daughter," you know. So I told my dad before my mom, and he did the same thing. And at least by the time everybody else found out, it was like no serious. Yeah.
And for the both of you now as a collective, how did you guys deal with that?
Frank was living in La La Land. Frank dealt with it. I feel like Frank got me pregnant before we started dating. So for him, he was just no man. If you know Frank, you know, a lot of people that know him will probably watch this and be like, yeah, because he came from that lifestyle. It was different for me, you know. I was like the one scared. He was the one like, yeah, if you're pregnant, let's make sure you're really pregnant.
At least he knows what he wants. He's a man with a plan, a man with a mission.
Are you mad? Do you know where I come from? I'm the firstborn, you know. So for him, I think it's important to have somebody that loves you. You know, luckily, you know, getting intimate, you know, was easy because I had somebody that really loved me. For me, I won't lie. Frank knew that I was on. I didn't. I was like, this bad boy, Lord, it's over. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it, God. Help me, you know. Then you fall pregnant, like, God help me. It's like, you went there on your own, you know.
Yeah. But for me also, not to interrupt, but when she fell pregnant, I think I went back to God again, you know. I was like, God,
that's true.
Right now I need your help, you know, because my dad told me, now you do what we do. So
you must also we as fathers as men. Oh, that's intense,
now you must also do what we do, which is taking care of your wife and your kids. And I don't ever want to hear that she's not my wife, because we don't do that. If you were sure enough to have a baby with her, you must be sure enough that she's your wife. So I don't ever want to hear these things. Wait for me, I'm coming. We are going to the family. I'll apologize and I'll ask for the list and we'll move on. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I told my brother, I said, there will be a chance that you and me have to go back to Congo to work because I don't think you stay here. He was like, you know what, yeah, I'm with you, we'll go back. I was like, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. Maybe your life can go, can be on hold because of my mistakes. Yeah, but there's a big chance for us to go back. He was supportive. And yeah, I just prayed, I just prayed for like 6 months until I went back. So for me, it was also a time to get back to God.
Absolutely, for
and
both
just
of
pray
us.
for guidance. I've always been that guy, I knew if things went wrong, I had to go back to God. But I was like, if I pray now, I have issues. So I'll pray for 2 weeks and then play around for 6 months and then come back 2 weeks, pray again. Yeah, so when she felt pregnant, I was like, no, now God, I really need you. I need to see clear, and the first thing in my mind was I have to go back to Congo, I have to get a job, I have to finish school and all these things. But being afraid, I was never afraid. I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah, I think collectively we didn't really have a challenge because, well, it was different. Frank's family said marry her, my family said you're not going to marry him, you don't need him. I mean, we grew up in South Africa. For them, growing up here, I think for my parents, they diluted a lot of our like Congolese morals.
I think we can relate as well.
You see, so for them, they're like, you don't have to get married to this guy. Because I was like, no, Frank wants to, but they're like, do you want to? You don't have to just because you're pregnant. With my dad's like, we can take your child, we send you to Europe. You don't even need him. That guy's gonna get another girl pregnant. So for me, like, I knew the type of guy that he was. So collectively, I'm just like, my problem wasn't Frank, that, okay, this guy was going to run away. He was already too sprung. I'm like, this guy got him here. I'm joking. But luckily, like I said, because the foundation was great, although the method was not great, the foundation made it easier for us to deal with it. So for us, we didn't have the problem. The problem came from maybe everybody else. And like I said, we didn't have a long time to deal with everybody else. It was shortened due to the fact that obviously we got to deal with it internally, and then eventually it was out, but then the foundation was too strong to break.
So how do you guys then share your story without encouraging other people to do the same, or without getting away from the truth of...
We don't encourage. We don't.
Straight away?
No, absolutely, because if I could go back, I would. We would not have our child before wedlock. We didn't have time to know each other for ourselves, because at the back of your mind, you always have a child. So are you really honest about the choices you make? Are you really honest about what you want to do, or are you doing it because there's somebody behind you? Do you know what I mean? I feel like had we waited, I think things would have been different in terms of we wouldn't have hit the same walls that we hit because we had a child. You see, and also like we would have enjoyed life more. Like there was no enjoying. You buy Kit Kat, but you gotta buy nappies. You gotta you sharing it because somebody's grabbing it. So I would never encourage it. And also it's like, let's not run away from the truth. Just cause we got over it doesn't mean everybody else did. When I got pregnant, I got a lot of girls writing to me, telling me like, how did you do it? Because with my family I couldn't. People telling me they aborted, obviously, and the reason why they did it was because of family. It was never because I wanted to. It was because of my family. My family. I had the same backlash. My parents said to me, "You're the firstborn. What is everybody gonna say?" And the only reason why I kept it is because I remember that day I had a dream, and God said to me, you've always been going to church, you've been praying, but you've done everything for everybody but me. Sure. You did it for your parents. You did it because you like being on the pedestal. That was me. You're the firstborn. You see. And God had said to me, it's either right now you choose me or you choose them. And I had to say, listen, I'm gonna keep this child. And I had to do it. You have to be honest about your faith. It's one thing to say you're a Christian, but to be a Christian is something else.
100%.
You see, you have to put the action to the word, and I had to do that. So, luckily for us, I think we both found God. I mean, I've always had God, but I feel like I found Him for myself during that time. But we would never ever advise, and I feel like my sisters even say like, you guys are our biggest contraceptive. Like they're just having to raise our child.
That's a real one.
My sister's like, dude, like
that's a real
I cannot. I'm sure there's many guys that they push off like, guys, I have another child there. No, that I'm babysitting.
That's crazy. That's
for
crazy.
me, it's right now, in 2021 or 2020, we need to be honest. You know, the chance for men to have sex with their girls is 100%, number one, and then unprotected sex is actually 100%. So if you are there and you don't know that there is a 100% chance that your girlfriend can actually be a mom, then stop doing that. You know, for me, I wouldn't say I was ready, you know, to have a child, but somehow I knew it's like, hey, this thing can happen. You know? And in my mind, when it happened, I remember I went in my shower and I was praying to God. I said, Father, help me go through this. I'll never do this again. You know, and to my brother, we close. You know, I told him the truth. I said, I know you have your girl. You do whatever you want to do, but don't ever be here, because now me, I'm 23. I'm a dad. You know, I don't have a job. I'm back to school. I love this girl. You know, I'm confused. You know, I'm really confused. So I don't want you to do the same. Yeah. I'm not saying don't do it, but if you keep doing that, this can happen to you. And the chance that I have to marry this girl and to move on and to have a job, go back to school, 99% of people won't have it. Sure. You know, I'm just blessed to actually get out of this, because I know so many guys, my friends till today, they're not married. Why? They missed it. You know, there's this girl and that and that and that, you know. And for me now, I play with them. I say, hey, Gigi's 6 years old, you know, and in 10 years, she's going to see you at the club and you go after her. That's your daughter. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, just be honest. Right now, if I say don't do it, it's a lie. You know, everybody's doing what they want to do. Yeah, and they don't want to be advised on what to do we
think we know and we
So for be careful. I think learn from people's not mistakes, but learn from people's shortfalls. That's
it's easier said than done, I think.
Yes. Same with me. You know, I hate being the guy who, you know, advise everyone. Because now they put you on the side, you know, and when the things go wrong, they will never speak to you, because for them they'll be like, "How he told me." You see, so I always want to let people be comfortable, do what you have to do, but me, I always say the truth. So you choose, I know that you choose, and if it goes wrong, at least you know I'm not judging you. So you can always come back and speak to me.
Hey, you can find a way.
Man, you know the thing you said happened to me. How did you do it? No, I'm gonna be pissed off. All of us are gonna be, my man, really, you saw me, you know what I went through. What did you do with that, you know? But after it's done, now let's move on. How do you get out from this? That's how I work. So for me to tell you, no, Rudy, use a condom, no, you know, you're gonna do whatever you want to do. But if things happen now, at least you know, we told you. And for my dad, it was it's like, don't ever tell us if a man that doesn't say if. There's no if here. So if you are, you know, you are doing things, you must know. If it happens, don't ever tell us if I knew, oh my God, if they told me. No. You must know everything. You must know. If you start a relationship, you must know. No, Papa, if I knew. No. You are a man, you know, and then just you know, in few words, it's difficult to tell people right now. Just do this, don't do this. But they must be ready for what can come to them.
So 2015 comes, you know, get married, we were there, beautiful day and stuff like that, and then you guys are 25. Getting married so young and already having like your first house and stuff, how did you guys manage to do that? Who moves into their first house 25 already?
To be honest with you, it's not maybe now, it's not a new thing anymore, because we've seen it a lot, but back then, I didn't think it was a big thing until people would speak about it.
Yes, I would speak about it every day. I was like, how do you do this? I'm 25 today and I'm no way.
No, look, I think if you just disciplined, if you have a drive, if you just want things to be right, and you don't necessarily follow what the trends are. You just focus on what I need to do, and you'll be okay. I don't need to please everybody. I don't need to live for anyone. As long as you're on this train, you've left. Because I was going to follow the soccer route. That didn't work out, obviously. Okay, let's go back to the study thing, how things work. Push with that thing, make sure everything is, you know, done in such a way that by the time I graduated, went straight into work, managed to get everything that I needed to get.
Amazing.
Moved in before.
I think we were fortunate in that.
Yeah, we're very fortunate as well.
It worked out well, somewhat. But I mean, we were not the typical, the house is ready. I mean,
Yes, I
Oh,
remember.
no.
Yes, I remember.
we had an
Yes.
ironing board as a table.
Yeah.
Table,
Ironing
ironing
board.
The
board.
first night we slept over, we slept on the floor. I remember.
Yeah, wow. I had no bed,
Yes.
like literally no furniture. You walk in,
Yes.
it's carpeted
Wedding day.
floor,
Oh my god.
and there's just Levido. What you curtains.
Yeah.
That was
But
it.
that's the thing. People forget about small beginnings
The way-
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
forget
no,
about
because
small
people are, they
beginnings.
want to know we got married, the house must be set up,
Set
everything
up.
must be set up.
Nothing.
But then I don't know how it worked out, but it worked out.
Yeah.
We didn't see ourselves and want to compare ourselves with other couples who got married and their
Deep.
houses all set
That
up.
is great.
Because I have another friend, she didn't do the whole big wedding thing. She did a very intimate wedding, but her house was decked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're waiting for
that's
the
That's
shoes.
another way of doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I walked in, I'm like, yo,
I wish.
we didn't start like this.
Exactly.
You would have a fish tank. Crazy.
Wow.
But look at the sacrifice she had to make. Do
Exactly.
you know what I
Very
mean?
true. But
Exactly.
I loved the way that we started.
We-
Because
Yeah.
from humility, a lot of
Sisa.
things comes out of that.
Mm.
And character is born
Amen.
from that.
True.
So
Amen.
I love that we had an ironing board. I love that we had those
Camping chairs for chairs,
camping
man.
chairs.
Not even normal camping chairs like Camp Buster.
Those ones.
It was those flip things, like you flip it and
Then it opens up.
with the
that we got from
springs.
your parents. I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having to build that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
So building is important. It's
Definitely,
key.
and having
Yeah.
that foundation is good because I think
Mm.
you appreciate a lot of things more. We appreciate that we have a
Amen.
table,
Yes.
although
Yes.
the babies are jumping over it, over them.
Oh yeah,
It's
now
okay.
you want to get rid of the furniture.
They're scratching our furniture. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine. It's good tigers.
So being close to you, you are obviously let into certain realities of your life, and this is a topic that is very dear to me because I'm very close to you. You guys are my mentors. So now you're getting married, everybody's happy, everybody's proud of you, and then we're Congolese, and you know what they want the week after you get married.
Basically.
Yeah, he wanted
Yeah.
15 kids.
So it
Yeah.
didn't come the first week. It didn't come it didn't come in the third year.
Yeah.
I think fourth, fifth year it came in. So I want to know, how was that journey from year 1 to year 4 or 5 when you trying but it's not happening?
I think there's two different perspectives here.
Go for it.
First, as a woman, how do you deal with maybe whatever's coming from all corners, in-laws, own family, own mind, and then now you as a man dealing with maybe your family and then dealing with her emotions and dealing with yourself. How? Because I try to put myself in those shoes, but I couldn't, because other people left, right, and center getting kids, blah blah blah. But you guys did things the right way, as they said, and it's like, okay, God,
What's up?
Yeah.
Right. The perspectives, yes, they were so different. Growing up, my mom used to say, us we don't have problems in our family with fertility. Already that's pressure. Didn't think I would need the pressure, but anyway. So that was already the onset. Second of all, you're the firstborn. You can't have problems. You can't fall short as a firstborn.
Yeah.
Third of all, there you are on stage. People are watching you. Oh, you got married. We need to see a bump soon. Fourth, you're
on stage because you're singing, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're serving
I
in the
was
church singing.
choir in the choir. Fourthly, you are a leader in the youth.
Yeah.
So you have all these little eyes on you, and obviously all the other eyes on you. So pressure as a woman, then the women are not on you. There must be an issue. The spiritual issues, or the biological issues, or you did something, or someone's doing something to you. The chattering, but what we had said to our parents, at least, because I like what you guys did with the whole thing of within yourselves, within the bubble of family, you set it straight. So we did the whole thing. We're like, guys, 2 years.
First 2 years.
First 2 years.
Because you guys were 25 when you got
Yeah,
married.
we're like, y'all don't expect nothing. Please don't pressure us. Don't give
that's
us the
good.
whole blab, because I knew they were going to carry on. My mom said the first, she's like, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything anymore. I'm like, good, thanks. So 2 years have passed now. What
Now
has
it's
happened?
showtime.
It's like,
It's supposed
okay,
to
guys.
be showtime now.
You said 2 years, but my dad would be like, okay, you guys said 2 years. We want our grandchildren, and it was hard. It was hard because first year it's not happening. The first year after, so the third year, it's not happening. The whole year, and the year span, it seemed like it was going on forever. Didn't happen. Fourth year, it didn't happen. So it sort of happened towards the endish or the fourth year. But it was pressure because we fell into the trap of leaning on our own hands, leaning in our own understanding. So we tried all sorts of things. Medication didn't help. I think it made it worse because then I found out, the whole thing of, it's the women's problem.
Right.
Oh my soul, that thing this gives me like issues.
Yeah, just to add on that,
Yeah.
because in Congo I've seen like, it's never an option to actually think that the guy
Yeah,
can
that
actually
could,
also have an issue. You see,
exactly.
like everyone just attack the woman. Like, no,
Yeah.
check your wife.
Mm.
All, like
As if it takes one
Yeah.
to make a child.
yeah.
It takes two. And I think the whole pressure, I don't know, it falls more, like you're saying, falls more on
Yeah.
the women. But the society, as a Congolese society, we should just...
Just
it's
as
time to
African, I think it's
open
African in
up.
general.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
open
absolutely.
our minds a little bit, because
Absolutely.
there are women suffering in silence. We're not saying it was his
Yes.
issue.
Yeah.
We don't
But
actually know what the
the
issue was.
whole-
It was a God issue, but honestly.
I think, okay, carry on, because I was gonna say, I think there's a combination of things.
Oh no, here's
Yeah.
the theory, right? He doesn't have a theory.
No, I think, look, after what we
Go on.
went through, I think, must I go?
Yeah, go on.
I think it was a very, very difficult part of our journey. I won't lie. It's you've known each other for that long, and you think you do everything right, but there's an element that you're. That's when I said I have no control, because that was part where we did everything. When she said we did everything, the amount of money we spent. We actually did IVF. I don't know if you guys heard of IVF.
Yeah.
vitro.
Oh
We
my
went,
gosh.
we went through that route because we were in a space where we tried.
Everything.
When I say everything, I'm saying everything.
Mm.
To the point where I remember when the doctor, when we tried the IVF and it didn't work. So they make you sit in this room. I think that was the most difficult, because at that point you were like, so God, you're saying like there's
This is
not even
really
if
a
I
big
pay
one.
by myself, like,
Imagine.
even if you try to put the eggs like this, that still
You
didn't
take
happen.
them manually.
You literally manually,
Yeah,
because that's what
Exactly.
Yeah.
that still didn't work. It
So you're
that
saying
broke
no.
us. I won't lie. That was a time when, and people didn't know, because we had to be.
Again,
front.
but that topic also
We
is
had to
quite
be-
taboo.
Yeah, we got to
to
break that actually.
No, don't
Um,
even speak about that.
Yeah,
You can't
we've
talk
got to
about
break
it.
that, exactly. So, and in our society, you can't even speak about IVF because that
Exactly.
seems like, but there's a lot of people that go through it now. But we went through all of that, and people understand the kind of mental, emotional, because
Yeah.
we were torn, we were broken, we were like, we doing everything selflessly because we gave ourselves to the church, we gave ourselves to the work of God, yet nothing.
Wow.
So it was a journey where we learned quite a bit, and a lot of people didn't know what we're going through, and we're not pretending. It's just this is what part of our lives. We carry on serving. We're gonna keep on moving, and we learned a whole lot. And it's not my theory. It's just that because we went through a lot, and there was actually a couple who were missionaries, and they're currently in Rwanda, but they helped us quite a lot because they were very close to us, and through some of their guidance, we learned quite a lot of stuff because we've realized that. Firstly, some of these things happen because of generational curses. The Bible speaks about that, and whether it's a blessing or a curse, it's generation. We can get some stuff. Like for example, just to give you a simple example, in my family life, she knows this. My grandfather works in the bank. My uncle, his name is Michelle. My uncle, who's the firstborn of the entire, lineage. He's firstborn, worked in a bank. I'm the next firstborn of my dad. I worked in a bank. There's a lineage. There's a thing that happens. We sometimes think it's not crazy. It's just how things are. So you can grab great things. You can grab bad things.
Yeah.
It's generational. There's curses. There's blessings. The Bible speaks about that very clearly. So we had to go through an exercise of let's go through both sides of the family. What's happening? Because you have to understand something. When something is not going right, sit, pause, and actually say, what's going on?
Absolutely.
So we went through the generational curses. Like we had to go pray and break through whatever, whoever put whatever there. Let's stand in a gap. We had to go through all of that. We had to go through the medical aspect of what's happening, because we found out there's something called endometriosis. She had it. Something that some people don't even know they have it. You wouldn't even know until when this topic of reproduction comes in. We gotta check this out. So we had that. So we had to go through a whole operation. Everything. So medically check yourself. I went to go check myself too. They told me, oh listen, you guys are not doing that great. I'm like, since when? There is no way. Me, I eat my stuff. I know my thing. Go check yourself.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have the thing of as men pride, we want to hold.
Right.
Listen, go check
Thank
yourself.
you.
So I had to do my portion, go through a whole bunch of steps, go through it, took medication. All of that still came with no fruition because I'll tell you, like nothing was working. You know what I'm saying? So nothing was working. So we went through the medical route. So I would suggest to whoever, if you're struggling, go through the medical route, go through the generational things. There's even, in the Bible you also see as well, where especially pride plays a big role. You'll see some people, right? They have everything. Whether it's work, like they're very successful, but there's an area in life where they're just not succeeding. It's a place where God is like, there needs to be some form of humility here. And we sometimes take it for granted. We think because we have everything else under control, or we can go through it. We think God is sovereign and He does things in His own way, in His own time. And it's a
hard pill to
swallow. But we have to be real. Are you prideful in life? Do you think you're above everybody? Take a step back. You might be doing everything, whether it's work, you are the CEO, the CIO, or church. Everyone sees you like this. Why are you in a certain area it's not working? I'm not saying just reproduction, I'm talking about whatever. Why is it you're failing in this particular area and it haunts you? It's because there's something that we need to deal with. And sometimes you actually see it's also generational. Generational is not just about the physical elements of things. It's pride is a thing. It can be, you'll see in the family, these guys,
all the men.
Do you know what I'm saying?
They think they've made it.
Do you know what I mean? So we've gotta look into those. So I would urge whoever's like struggling and going through these things, pray. So you gotta seek God, right? Because God will humble you in His own ways. But we went through the medical route, go check ourselves out, see, because actually that even helps you pray better. We didn't know she was going through what she went through, we didn't know what I was going through. Like, well, actually there's that, okay, let's deal with it. So we went through that portion. Yes, we spent a lot, but it is what it is. God helped us to learn a lot of stuff along the way. We did the generational stuff, we prayed through a lot of things. What else did we do? Another thing that we took for granted a lot, sorry, no. Your environment plays a big role.
That's a deep one.
And the thing is, sometimes, I don't know if you've ever noticed, when you're stressed out about things, your body reacts in a certain way. So, and it's
natural. And
it's
natural process.
It's a natural process. It's just how things are. Your body goes into fight or flight mode. You'll see doctors speak about it a lot. So, when you're under duress, whether it's work, change jobs if you need to, because you're not operating to the full capacity. You're not operating to. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Change jobs, change friends if you need to, if they're the ones giving you the stress. Change your environment, whatever that environment looks like. Because that's what I'm saying, for us, all of those factors played a role, because we were under a lot of stress.
Yes, I remember.
We were struggling. So even a breather, and you just like, things operate. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So a change of environment assisted in that way. And it also aided that. Hence why I said we went through a couple of things. For people, it might just be one thing that they need to deal with. But for us, I think we did a few things that assisted that process of, because literally we got to a point where we like, after that
surrender.
IVF thing.
Absolutely.
Because I promise you, that room, it haunts me every time I think about the image, because you sat there, you did everything. They even literally, let's put the two together. And the doctor comes in, I'm sorry. And to see your wife in that sort of state, because like I said, pressure's there.
Exactly.
Not necessarily me. It's always there. We got to change that as a society. But when that happened, like you got to a point, I remember even in the car, you just went in the car, you didn't speak to each other, you just drove on, because you can't even say anything.
No, it breaks you to a level you just can't understand.
You can't understand, because you're like, God, why us? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, after that point, we literally got to a point where we were like, okay, we're leaving it, we're dropping everything. We're literally stopping with trying or whatever the case is.
Medication, what?
Everything, you name it. We're just going to live our lives the way God wants it to be. And we're just going to follow that. So yeah, we carried on. We started serving at the new place. We just moved forward with whatever. And how I got the news was
3 months later.
Yeah.
He's even gone to Canada.
I went to Canada.
And I'm there one man.
And then she got the news.
I was shook. I was like, no, this. You're joking. Actually, got this. You're joking. No, I
How
couldn't.
many things are you buying to test?
I think I put like 7 pregnancy
Oh
tests.
my
Like
god.
this one, this is a fluke.
You
This is
look
a fluke. This is a
all
fluke.
the
They're all
tests you
flukes.
have. Your
no,
mind.
I lost it. Lost
Did
it.
you ever
It's a dream.
doubt yourself as a woman? Because you know they always bring up womanhood
Yeah.
to fertility.
Yeah, no.
That's a good
That is one of the biggest explanations or definitions of a woman is that you can bear
Yeah.
child.
Yes.
And if you can't bear child, who are you? Are you even a woman? How many times did I sit in rooms? I think I even spoke to you. I think I was leaving for work the one day, and I'm bending. I don't know if I'm gonna kiss you goodbye or what not. And then I heard God's voice says, "Is this enough?" I was like,
Oh no, I'm sleeping.
"You're sleeping."
Yes. And you looked at me. Yeah.
God says, "Is this enough?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" I need to be able to be called mom. I need to be able to, like, that's Mama Tracy. I don't know how you African word.
Yeah.
That's Mama Tracy. I need to be called that. That is my identity that is missing.
Yeah.
It's missing and I need that. How much stress you get from all the tontines?
Why?
Aunties.
Why is it always them?
The aunties
Always.
can stress you to another level.
The aunties need to watch this.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, and
So,
like
yeah.
fast forward to now, two beautiful
Yeah.
baby girls. Under,
Amazing.
2 kids under 3, I think.
Under two.
Yeah.
Under
Two
2.
under two. Yeah, I know, it's a lot.
Imagine.
Girl, and you look so good.
2 kids under 2.
No,
Yeah.
to add, if you allow me to add on,
Yeah.
on the story, for me it's touching, you know. It's touching to see that what you went through maybe to have a child, all of us went through maybe to have something else.
Yeah.
And I love the humility in actually understanding that God gives
Yeah.
when it's the right time. Because for you know, for me and my wife, we had a child, but when we had it, we lost the connection. You didn't have a child, but you came together, praying together as well. You see, so for me, it's not a loss or a win. It's more of relying on God to trust God that hey, we don't know, you know, but we trust you together. And I think that's what we missed. I trusted God on my own; she did on her own.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You see, so now you speaking, you know, I understand why now the Bible says if 2 people agree on the same thing, then I am there. You see, you had to agree on, Father, we don't want the child right now. We just want to be together. We are praying. We are serving. Before you knew it came. Before you knew it came. But before, it was pressure. You know, I want to be a mom. You know, I must have my daughter or my son, whatever. So you were believing in God for yourself. But when you stop that, you're like, God, now it's me and my wife. We just want to serve you. We just want to move on, you know. And then he came. Same with us. You know, there was a point in my life I was like, you know, this is my wife here. You know, I can try to do all these things.
Yeah.
God, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm gonna agree with her, babe. I love you. Do what you have to do. You are not Mama Pastor. You know, you are my wife.
Sure.
Why? Because
Amen.
if I'm a doctor, automatically you're not Mama Doctor.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? You're gonna do your things. I'm gonna do my things. I love you.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Immediately,
It's crazy.
things started happening. You know, we just came like this.
Sure.
Things like
Yeah.
That was
finances,
yeah,
everything, the
Yeah.
kids, everything just came. You know, and then I was telling her, I was like, babe, I don't think we have to stay in Congo anymore. I see the stress, the struggle. You need to go back to South Africa. After 2 months, she left, and I stayed there alone 6 months.
Yeah.
And then this one time, she told me, you know, I'm praying to God. I don't want you to come if you're not gonna become one.
Yeah.
So I was praying a lot. I was like, Father, help me now. Open doors, blah blah. You see,
Yeah,
and
because it's
there
like
was
you
no
miss me.
door.
I was
Yes,
like,
it's like
I miss you, but I
Yeah.
don't want you to come if it means that
go
we're
back
gonna go
to
back to where we
to
were.
the same
Like,
thing, you see.
yeah,
Yeah.
emotionally
Yeah.
also for us.
Yeah.
I was just
So-
like, I need you, you know, because I mean, the
Yeah.
body reclams husbands.
Tell me about it.
Of course, you gotta be honest.
Speak the
You
truth.
gotta be honest.
Yeah, man.
But there's more to that. I mean,
Yeah.
to even get there, you have to already be there emotionally. And
Yeah.
emotionally, we weren't there, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like you said, once we agreed,
Yeah.
you know, things happen. Because even when we decided to come back, we were like, we're speaking into existence. Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna move back to South Africa. But the
Yeah.
way things happened was
You
like,
just can-
out of our control. We
I
were
could
looking at
not
1
blame
year,
that,
but it
you
happened
know.
in
I
like
could
4
not
months.
blame that.
That's God.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so for to you know, really
Don't worry.
excuse
No,
us
go
for
ahead.
the
Go ahead. Go
time.
ahead. This is
But
beautiful.
to, you know, this is touching because
Mm.
people think being married is actually having the ring and you being together. No, it's
not.
actually agreeing on the same thing.
Sure.
And that's what, if you study the Bible, even Jesus agreed with God on everything, and he moved so fast. You know, all of us, there are times where, like you said, God, I'm serving, God, I love my wife, God, I do this, I'm working, everything is fine. Why am I not having this kid?
Yeah.
You see, and God doesn't want that, because if you have, then you're like, oh, we pray. No.
Exactly.
He said it. He said, I'm not in control. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
everything that happens to me is because me and my wife, first of all, agree on that. We pray God and we wait. And I think today, for all the people who are excited to be married, they miss that. They
Yeah.
wait and agree.
Sure.
You
That's
know.
good.
I lived 5 years with my wife not agreeing, and we agreed for a month, and everything went on.
Come on.
Yeah.
5 years, and God, I always say this: God is not in a hurry. You wasting your time, He's not wasting His time.
Sure.
You see, and God does not do SAP exams.
No.
If you miss, you're gonna sit in that class until you get it.
Yeah.
Not 50%, not 60%, not 70, 100%.
Sure.
Because it doesn't like shame attached to His name. You see, now it's easy for them to speak to any couple because they were there. Says, listen to me, money will come if you agree. Kids will come if you, the house, everything you're looking for will come once you become one. You know, not to say I understand what you went through, but to just, as a man also, to sit and hold my wife and pray. You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard. You know, so I really appreciate the story, and
Absolutely.
I relate with my wife. You know, and I think everyone out there should just be serious. You know, there are things when you want to get married, it's more about commitment.
Yeah.
You know, money, sex, all these things will fade away. But the commitment that we have, baby, we want to serve God together, we want to live together, you know, and the pressure outside must actually go.
Yeah.
You know, to leave your father and mother is not, she's actually stop. I'm gonna stop now. To leave
Equally
to,
yoked.
Got this.
yeah, to leave your dad and mom is not moving out from the house. No, it's this thing. You know, like in your mind,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's actually, you know, I'm not my father, I'm not my mom, I'm not this thing. Like you said, there are good things we pray for, we accept. Like in your family, you can see it's a good family. These are the things you must keep. You know, but the evil stuff, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but we say no.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So for me, I think agreeing in marriage is the key to receive
Important.
even more than we can think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes like this, easy.
True. And just to add on something, just around this, you can't really explain God. Like He has to be revealed. That's a big lesson that I've
Amen.
learned. Is God has to be revealed. You think of the scripture that speaks about when God, Jesus says, okay, ask the disciples, who do those people say that I am? And they give answers. Then He says, okay, who do you say that I am? He says, you're the Messiah, da 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 da. And He's like, it's not you who came up with it. It's my Father who revealed. God cannot be explained you can try with all your might to try and explain a situation, to try and put a blame.
Yeah.
When there's a revelation of who God is in your life, there's certain things that shift.
Yeah.
There's a shifting that happens, and you will shift in a way, that will lead you to whatever that desire, that thing that you were looking for. So
Yeah.
there has to be a revelation of who God is in that situation.
And to
Inspire
add on
worship.
that, I want to actually say that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to know for what He did for us, and therefore give Him a character for our lives. You will never be shaken. The church can close down. You don't close down. Everyone can say whatever they want to say about God. You never say that because you had a personal encounter with God.
Yeah.
That's why you see Jehovah Jireh. That's not His name. It's people who called Him that name because He came out as Jireh. That's not His name. So you too, in this situation, you have a name that you call Him, and every time things go wrong, if you say that name, it's gonna come and show up. You see. So for us, let's jump from praying, "Oh my God, Elohim." It's not Elohim to you. It's not Elohim to you. You know.
Pray real prayers.
Yeah. Now for
Personal
you guys,
real
it's
prayers, yeah.
easy to actually connect with God. You see, you pray because you know He showed us this one, And that one can never be taken away from you. There's no pastor now, no prophet, no evangelist, there's nothing. It's you and God, and that's what God wants us to do and how to be. Even your kids, they will grow up understanding this thing. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Frank and Kimina. It's like Frank, especially when I met Frank 6 years ago, Frank was not Frank today.
No.
Frank was what the streets would say. Frank was cool. Frank was, you know what I'm saying. And then Frank's
I'm
life,
still cool.
100%.
Don't take my title away. As I eat my business.
And then you look at Frank today, and even the way he speaks, you can see that he's got his head screwed on totally different to what maybe we saw and stuff. And then he decided to, take his calling and go with it. How did you adapt to that? Because it's not our calling, it's his calling. How did you adapt to that? And how do you keep adapting to it? Do you think you need to change? Do you tone down things? How do you do it every day?
At first I didn't because I grew up at Rhema. There's Rhema, and then there's the churches in Congo.
Good point.
There's CRC, and then there's the churches in Congo. Growing up at my church, I don't know about everybody else's church. Growing up at my church, we saw God differently. God is love. God is your friend. God is literally the way they presented God to us since I was young. He was the most honest, transparent. He's like your cool dad. That dad that you can tell the things that you really can't tell your dad, but you want to, but you can't, but you tell the other dad because you won't hear it in your face. You'll feel and see his correction, but never will, you'll have to deal with the wrath of him in the other room. Then I moved to Congo. And this is the church that's literally putting this person that you've been begging to go on his knees on your knees. So he's on his knees because of this church. But this is the same church that is challenging your marriage. Tu vois, that was difficult. It was difficult because he was growing, but I was regressing. I was regressing because the doctrine of the church was different. Every church has their own doctrine. That was, for me, it didn't go with my perception of God. In the essence, I started seeing God differently. It meant, listen, I love your church. I love your church because...
You're judging God.
No, but I love your church because if it wasn't for that church, I feel like you needed that kind of discipline to be the type of Christian that you are, or the man of God that you are. But I didn't, I think, because we had two totally different experiences. I think you needed that, but I didn't. But it was hard because you get into society where they tell you, as a wife, you have to be at the same church as your husband. But then I'm like, God, do I fake it when I pray to you? Do I go in there and pretend, and then while I'm really telling everybody that I love you, but right now I just feel like you're so far away from me. You see. So it came to a point where I had to be honest with Frank. One day I sat down because I was just like, a lot of the things that they're doing I don't agree with. But the way that you are literally helping like the young generation there, I see it. And I say, this is for you, this is your vision. I'm going to be there to support you. When you have your conferences or whatever, I'm going to be there. But I cannot serve at this church because I feel like we are not serving the same God. So we went to two totally different churches. I knew it was going to be an issue because everybody says you have to be at the church where your husband is. But weird enough, when he accepted and went to two totally different churches, because there was an expat church that was closer to home. I feel like church must be like home, And eventually, even coming to Frank's conferences, because before I wasn't even coming, God had to say to me, like, at the end, are you coming for me or for Frank? But when Frank was preaching, God was there. So I had to be like, I'm coming because I know it's you speaking, and it's not Frank at the end of the day. It's not his pastor, it's not the prophets there, it's him, I feel like I went through a hard season because in like our South African churches, there isn't like this prophets type of stuff. In Congo, there's prophets everywhere. If you go to the club, there's a prophet. You go to the shops, there's a prophet, and I think I got abused, honestly, by them. Emotionally, I did, because I feel like they took advantage of me. And because Frank, like the newbie Christians, once you just say God, they jump. That was Frank. Anybody can say God. Frank is like gone. Like I remember we had this one fight And Frank's like, you're a witch. And I started laughing because I'm like, woo, these newbie Christians. I was like, soon he'll go back to his old life. But he didn't, you know. He didn't. Eventually, when I moved to that church, weird enough, we started getting closer. Why? Because, guys, God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omnificent. He's everywhere. You know, it's just that you have to find people that represent him for him. Luckily for that church, Frank represented God, and that's why he was growing there, and that's why people loved him, you know. But for me, it's like, it's not Frank that's preaching every day. So it was hard. It's like, I want to be there when you're on the pulpit, but I don't want to be there when you're not, because I can't be saying amen to somebody that doesn't represent the God that I know. So rather let me go to a place where I can be with them every day. And when we come home together, we speak about it and we grow. That's exactly what happened. And then, like you're saying, you deal with the whole mama pastor thing. Me being me, guys, I love life. Like, that's one thing about me. And I think for me, I'm very transparent and honest. But when I started like trying to fit into that box, I was lying to myself so bad. You know, by the way I was dressing, because it's like you see me at Frank's church, like Kikwembe to the gods. Then you go to Carabia right after church, and Vina's like in her shorts, you know, just chilling, because Congo was very conservative. So even then I get backlash, like, you know, as a mama pastor. And I'm like, but Frank, what is that? Show me where in the Bible, you know, there's a list for mama pastor, how we must act. All I know is if people can speak to me and they can see God through me, why do I have to prove it through my dress code? You know, why do I have to prove it through small things like my hair, or because I'm wearing makeup, then I'm not holier than thou? I even, one day I remember I said to Frank, I was like, how is it that in a country that, you know, these people are saying is so chaotic, I found God?
No.
It doesn't make sense. So after we agreed, like Frank said, things got better. Frank came to my church, I go to his church, and then
I shocked them.
okay.
What about you, Frank? Like, how do you deal with your wife
Yeah.
complaining? Like, babe, I'm not happy. Babe, I'm not happy. Do you say, oh, babe, or do you say, okay,
It started as
how do I?
you're a fly.
Because this is your wife. This is now. This is your church. This is your wife. You know.
To be honest, for me, at first, I wanted, you know, what everyone had, you know, coming to church with their wives, and then we must all sit there, you know, and then they must see, oh, this is the guy, it's the wives.
And we
it's the
even fight
wives.
because you'll be like, I can sit in front.
Yeah, yeah, and then, like she said, I had time to study now the word for myself.
Yes.
And yeah, I was like, God, this is a lie. If being married in ministry was impactful, then Jesus failed, Paul failed, Peter failed, all these guys failed. Because they never had wives even speaking in the synagogues.
Yeah, women in general.
Yeah, they did not speak. And Paul was clear. He says, a woman must not speak in the assembly. If she has a question, she must speak to a man. He will teach her at the house. You see, that was what happened then. So I was like, you know what? I think it's easier for me to get distance because my wife is not here. Number one, because I'm going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to do things to prove to my wife that I know, and to show people that, hey, me and my wife things are okay because she's at church, and that's a lie. And then my pastor, the actual pastor, because I had two, he came and he left his wife and came for like 6 months. So it was just me and him. And then he told me, he said, when I married my wife, she was a prophetess, deep one. And then when we started serving together, she couldn't see anymore. And I was so annoyed. I was telling her, you know, fast, pray, do all these things. And then God told me, no, I didn't call her for that. I called you. You know, and then when we shared that, it was like, that's why I love you, Frank, because you don't put pressure on your wife. And that's why I'm like, if you knew, I'm actually fighting to bring my wife to church, so all of you guys can be like, hey, this guy's house is you know, is in order. You know, is in order. And then when she came to tell me that there's this church, you know, white people, they speak English, I want to bring the kids there. I was like, babe, I think that's right. Go there. I'm going to go here. And then after service, we'll come together. I saw what my kids did. They were happy. They were, you know, when they came to my church, they were afraid. You know, they were holding their moms because, you know, we deliver people there, people fall and stuff. It's like, oh my God, is that fine?
Yeah. Shame.
So to see them coming home with, you know, things that they wrote down and we'll play about it, we'll laugh about it. I was like, babe, you know what? You go there, deal with, you know, whatever you have to deal with. I'm studying here. And then before I knew it now, my pastor, out of nowhere, he just came, he said, I don't want pressure anymore on my wife. Babe, you can sit wherever you want to sit. I don't want you to come here. Blah blah blah. You know, so they saw me as this guy, you know, and then today if you go there, they're all sitting down. You know, it's just the leaders of that service that day that they go up because it's easier to actually go to the altar. You know, so for me with the youth also, I was like, no, if you're a doctor, your wife is not a doctor. If you're a lawyer, she's not a lawyer. So why you want us being pastors? Immediately, my wife must take that burden. She's not the pastor of the church. She's my helper here. She's helping me to lead you guys. So she can't lead you, you know, and that became a thing, you know, and thanks God, you know, there was peace. And then today, I actually thanks God because we didn't do the same thing, because she would have been really broken. Like she said, me, you know me. If I wear a robe in prayer, I wear a robe outside.
Sure.
If you see me this way, you're gonna see me outside. If I preach in a short, you're gonna see me in a short. I'm not. If I put this, if I go to church, I'm not gonna, babe. You know, people those black. No, I'm gonna preach. You know, that go. You already know. I don't care. Like it's me. I'm honest. Everywhere you see me, I'm the same guy. You see, so like you know, she said, he was like, God, I think we are lying to you here, because when we go to church, we have Sunday stuff, and then when we go out, I'm in a short and stuff. You know, and my pastor told me, he says, Frank, you can't be corrupt because God has you.
Sure.
So just live your life. Like you will never go back again to drinking and smoking. Not to say it's wrong, but for me, like you won't go back to that life because you save. So if you have to leave your beard, you know, I was telling the last time in the chat, you know, in the Zoom, I was like, yeah, you're telling me to cut my hair. I cut my hair. Maybe not like your pastor, but it's cut. You see, if you want them to be bold, they're bold. I don't care. Me, I'm not going to be bold. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so
doesn't suit me.
Yeah, it doesn't suit me. It's not because I'm not bold, I don't have a suit that I'm not a pastor. Doesn't make sense. You guys are serving God. But, you know, for me, the mystery to actually see young guys like this, and when you speak, they're like, oh my God, that's what I love. Because they're like, oh my God, you know, don't play with God. And I think that's that scripture that says God takes the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. I think our generation is all about that. I want to have my Porsche outside, Lamborghini, all my wife in short. But when I start prophesying, like, oh my God, you know it's happening. Yes. Then actually looking the pastor, but you are not. So let's stop looking like and actually being like. That's it.
And I wanted to ask Mitch and Frank, dealing with modern day women of today, having their own businesses. Because remember, she came out of nowhere and says, babe, I don't want to work anymore, I have my own business. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? And how do you guys support a modern day woman who works, who wants to get their own stuff done?
I think when we start realizing that she's not someone that's lower, and it's actually a partner, when you understand that, makes things easier. You don't even have to fight about that. When that situation happened, I'm for it. I was even saying to her, I was even saying, no, I did. I was literally even saying, listen, I want this thing to get so huge, I can resign so that I can join your company. Because I didn't want to work for anyone else. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So when we understand that,
because you both came from the 9 to 5. I think you're still in there.
I'm still in there. I'm still.
Like, no, I'm out.
If my bosses are watching, I'm still in there. But honestly speaking, like I think everyone wants to get to a point where you've got your own thing. Right?
Absolutely.
And for me, as soon as that happened, I was for it. Like I said, it's a thing of understanding that she's not lower. She's not someone that's just there to add on. No. You're equals. You know. It's my responsibility. Actually, as a man, my role is to push you. My role is to. I think there's a verse that speaks about. I think my mom spoke on, preached on that. But it's a verse that speaks about. You take her, you wash all the blemishes away. I don't know where it is. But you wash all the blemishes away. You present it to yourself. As in, what's your vision of who your woman is? If you want her to be successful, do what you gotta do to help her get there. No matter how long that takes, but when you have that mentality, that's where, that's how it should be. That's the example we see in the Bible. So, for me, it wasn't even a thing of, she's gonna, nah, bro. I wanna get out. So if we can get you in there, I'm full for supporting that. No matter how many businesses you want to, let's go for it. At the moment, I know it's one, but we're getting
We're adding on to it.
How's it going so far? Pandemic and everything, because you're into interior designing. How's that going?
I mean, the first wave shook the industry. The architectural industry was a bit shook because it's all about people are constructing things. You need to be in people's homes, people's stores, people's whatever. So it hit the industry quite bad. And I remember that, we sat and did nothing. But I welcomed it. I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Because I had my firstborn.
Yeah.
I went back to work 2 weeks after she was born, and I think God was just like, you need to just calm down. So I did nothing for a while. Hence number 2 kids.
I blame the pandemic. Yo.
Oh my God.
No, when you work from home, bro.
You are working from home for real.
From home, for real, you know?
I'm
I'm just saying.
But now it's time to pick up, like slowly. I think it's also about owning your own business is dedication. It's discipline.
No, absolutely.
And I think that's being formed in me because I was just like, 9 to 5 is easy. You know,
Yeah.
you're in your chair, here's your desk, you do the task that they told you to do, and you leave at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When you work for yourself, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're still working. It's 5 o'clock when you get up because you need to get things done. So it's tough. I think now it's time to pick up a bit slow. I know that I'm not. I know you hear this one. I am not where I should be.
Yeah.
But I am working towards it.
Everything takes time.
Progress, girl.
Yeah.
And you, Frank, how do you deal with hard-working, independent woman who's still dependent on you?
For me, at first, I never believed in that a woman can actually be independent. You know, I grew up like that. I say, these people, excuse me for the word, they don't love you, they love what you have. That's how I grew up. So to hear a woman telling me, "Oh, I have my," like, babe, chill. So for me, I had to be this guy. I had to bring to the table this for us to be together. And then I met her. I was in first year, she was in third year. She had a job. I was receiving money from my family. You see, so I was like, I think now it's a problem. She's everything that I never believed. And then getting married, I have to go back to school. And she's working now. She's dealing with everything at the house. I just had a house.
Yeah.
Empty house. With my TV that I brought from South Africa. I had to carry it. I was like, no, this is all this thing I have. Like, make sure my TV is there because I really have nothing. I still can watch the movie. And I remember the first night with her, I was so ashamed. I was like, babe, I'm gonna fix this house, and we were just sleeping, and we had no TV stand, so the TV was against the wall, and there was no electricity. I was like, babe, don't worry, I'm gonna, I still.
Moving to Congo, guys.
I was still that guy. I was like, bro, no, I feel like I work, and then God, like you said, God just humbled me. 2 years, nothing. No, even $20, nothing. I had no money, nothing.
Yeah.
And then she took care of us. Me and our child.
Yeah.
And then there was a time I told God, I said, Father, I'm sorry for thinking that a woman cannot help me.
Amen.
And then the next day I told her, babe, I'm gonna go to school and I'm still gonna do some jobs for
Work. Yeah.
I'm gonna work.
Yeah, because I was like,
I was like, okay, cool. I'll drop her at work, I'll go to school, then I'll go work, I'll fetch her, and I'll do all these things. And God started helping me slowly, but I still earn less than her. So for 5 years of my life, you're speaking to a guy who had $2,000 every month from 18 until I was 25. And I could get more if I wanted.
by lying.
The
textbooks.
We know those
You
tricks.
see, I was 18, I was not used to
Yeah.
$20. What was that? Come on. You see, God really had to break me to a place where I was like, thank you, Father.
Yeah.
We depend on you. Like, this girl is actually helping me, and then I always remember, we'll go out and people think I'm paying. I'm not paying.
It's because he's handsome. People are like, he got it.
And that's
Outside,
that feeling,
listen.
as a man, you can relate to that.
Yeah.
That feeling, of like, I really can't pay, Like, it killed me. And, the class has to be understood. Like I had to understand what's going on. God was telling me, "You're not going anywhere if you don't change this attitude."
Absolutely.
So I changed that. Yeah, I changed that, and today I make what she makes in a month in a day. Like
Yes, please.
Yes, Lord.
but the humility I have for my
Yeah.
wife, I respect my wife.
There we go.
Amen.
I don't. Everybody knows. If you want to really get on my nerves, play my wife. I don't care who you are. Even my dad, my mom, I really
Yes.
don't care. Like this girl, that's
my
right. I'm dropping it.
Oh, no.
Nice.
And I'm still a pastor. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, and then now she became lazy now because I'm working now. She's
Yes,
like,
because it's been 2 years. I mean, those years are fast getting back.
Claim, Baba, put the claim.
Yeah, so I'm actually pushing her now, like you said. I
Yes.
want her to have her own things going on. Why? Just because she's a woman, you know, I don't want her to be like, if my husband dies,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen to our kids? Like I want her to be comfortable in all, and I don't want any man or even people from my family to be like, whatever they have is mine. So you know what I'm saying? Like that disrespect, I don't want that. I want her to have a cars, her houses, to have her own family, and still
Why
be
act like don't die soon?
be fine. I'm gonna bury you. I'm here for a long time. We're here for a long time. Yeah. So for me, like you said, I think we are in a generation where I think since 2000, if you think you're a man and you're going to deal with, I think you're a fool.
Yeah.
Because right now, if we go for a job interview, they're gonna take you. Right?
Right.
It's that people don't care anymore. Like I think the world has changed. Where now we want to give more chances to women.
Yeah.
Not just chances. They are women. Me, I went to school with engineers. They're women.
Yeah.
They're perfect. I mean, they know what they're doing. Like,
True.
they really know what they're doing.
True.
So for men today you married and you want to work, I encourage that, but I really don't. Because there are times where, like you said, things will go wrong.
Yeah.
And if there's an extra $100, it will always
Exactly.
help.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So even if she has a job, I think they can do too many things at the same time. I think that those small things that we have
On the side.
for a watch, for a jacket, you can actually give to the wife. And be like, babe, you can sell this, you can do this, you can do that. And then,
What are you trying to say, bro? What's this about? Huh?
That's deep. I got two last questions.
Yes.
yeah.
When you look at your daughters, what do you feel? Especially your firstborn.
Ooh.
She crazy, but
She's crazy. Very crazy. But besides that, like, how do you feel in a couple of sentences?
I'm humbled
Mm.
because we struggled. And God said, my gynecologist said something
Get me emotional.
powerful. I'm about to cry myself. Because I was okay. I was a bit upset that we got pregnant again.
I remember you told me, you sent me a 7-minute voice note.
I was upset, not upset, people must get me wrong.
Just too quick, Tracy. Come on.
It wasn't planned.
Mm.
And I'm like, but God, we planned for the first one.
Mm.
And it was so hard. And I felt so many different emotions, like if I'm fair. Then I did my friends, like, there are people I know who are seeking this, and we just decided. I was upset. But my gynecologist said something, I was like, say two things. First, you must be humble that God chose you to be a mom
Amen.
Amen.
twice over.
Amen.
And don't feel like it's unfair for other people. God is, what did she say? I think she even said it in French. He récolte. He's catching up on lost time.
Mm.
Amen.
Yeah, right. So yeah, there was a lot of years. Okay, now it's like,
Yeah.
so I'm humbled that we get to be called mom twice, or I get to be called mom twice over. And excited to be
Yeah.
able to raise women that are going to be powerful.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's. I don't remember a word, but
Oh, don't cry.
listen, stop with your holding. No, it's. I have to say, from where we came from,
Mm.
it wasn't an easy.
Yeah, of course.
Like it was not an easy, because although I was, how do I put this? I was more worried for her for some reason, because I knew the pressures, and
Yeah.
even for myself, I wanted my own kids, but it was just being in a place where sometimes I even feel like I felt like a failure. Because I'm like,
You
I can't
can't do anything for yourself.
I can't do anything. That's the thing. I can't. And the thing of I can't, when you know you can't do anything for your wife, it's not an easy. It's as a man, it hits you. So yeah, sleepless night. But when I see her now, even though she annoys me,
she's
my
crazy.
daughter, but there's a joy that comes with it that you can't. It's irreplaceable because you know where you come from. You know how far, and you know what the journey has been. So I only look forward to what God is molding me into the father I'm meant to be for these daughters and what I need to do, my role in that. So that's my journey right now. It's just okay. What are you doing? What are you saying, God? And we walk in that. So yeah, it's been
a joyful roller coaster.
Yeah.
And for you guys, how do you guys raise Genesis to not hear whatever comments may come her way because of something she didn't do?
I don't think we do. I feel like we're definitely going to be honest with her. I'm that type of person. I mean, even with my sisters, just having that sex talk with my sisters, just being like, listen, it's not worth it. You can do it, but it's like, and then what? Do you know what I mean? It's better when you have that foundation, and also when there's just no child knocking on the door. Like luckily for you, as much as you guys may think like you wanted the child afterwards, but after marriage, I feel like you had time to grow, like also in truth. You guys were the best version of yourself by the time the child came in. Imagine like trying to figure out who you are as a couple, and then you have somebody there. So for me, I'm definitely gonna be honest with her. Like never will she be called a mistake, because it's through her that we found Christ. It's
the genesis of the journey.
Exactly. Wow. That's why she's Genesis, because she's the beginning of our walk with Christ. You see. So for me, honestly, like I said, I'm just gonna be honest with her, and I just want her to know that you can rise from mistakes. As firstborns, like you say, they put so much pressure on you to be perfect. That you think the only perfect way to do things is by avoiding mistakes. But for me, being perfect was showing my sisters that, listen here, this is messed up, but I'm going to show you how you can rise from it. You see. And that's, I felt like that was like the biggest lesson that they got. Because had I avoided it, had I aborted, what is the essence of them being that firstborn? If you can't rise from mistakes, then how are you leading? How are you called a leader when you haven't had any obstacles to overcome? That doesn't make sense. I think even the relationship with my sisters got better then, because you couldn't hide. Once you have sex and it's there, your little sister's watching. She's a teenager. You what are you gonna do? So I feel like for me, I'm not gonna hide from Genesis, and I want her to know that, listen here. Look, this happened with me. Pepe was not happy, but Pepe's here with you. Pepe loves you. Like my parents are obsessed. My kids are not even here. My kids don't even call themselves my kids sometimes. They're like so attached to my parents, and these are the same people that would have hoped at that moment that whatever happened did not happen. But if it didn't take me saying, you know what, I'm gonna deal with the situation. Yes, you're saying Mama and Tontine, blah blah blah, we'll talk. But where are they now? And if anything, I think also like for Frank, I think he'll never hide it, because it's going to be the best way to teach Israel how to be a man. It's one thing speaking and be like, being a man is ABC, and it's one thing saying, listen, I was this boy and I became your father through these circumstances. Because even him, like you're saying, yes, we were married, but he was not planned either. So it's like
that's the second one.
You say that's the second one, like both of them were not planned. So and it's the best lesson, just speaking about preparation with your kids, like the importance of preparation, like you're saying, and discipline. To discipline yourself to enjoy your marriage, the right way, and to be like, listen, this is the right. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Like everybody has that one child that was not planned. I mean, if you manage, teach us,
You must ask your parents, guys. Ask your parents.
Yeah, so for me to raise a daughter, it's helping me to be more responsible. I'll never say I'm there, because I feel like every step of your life I have to step up. I've seen a dad being the shouting guy to now the understanding guy to the encouraging guy. Yeah. So I really want to go through the process, and Genesis will never be a mistake because it happened, and I love her. I always tell her you're beautiful. You're the first. You're always the first, and I'm it's the grace of God. Everything she does at school, she's the first. Blah blah blah. And I saw that she's actually giving more hope and guidance to the brother. Now together they just like me and my brother. They're so close. Same with her also and his sisters. They're so close. Awesome. So for us, it's I'm blessed to actually be a father. And like you said, I'm humbled by that. I still want to seek for more wisdom to be a good dad. Even when they're married, they have their own kids, I still want to be the guy that will be like, oh my God, actually, I can't wait for you to meet my dad. Because he's, not just as a title, but as a man who provided for them food, good vibes, just provide everything for them. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys have learned something. I hope that you guys have been inspired, with your own journeys, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you've been married, whatever it is, have an open mind and be humble and take from what we did. It's your boy Rudy Samuel, and I'm signing out.